More and more people are defaulting on their mortgage, which means power of sale properties are on the rise. I'm going to talk about that and then get into the latest home prices and insights for the City of Toronto for week ending January the 4th, 2023. So, interest rates are up higher than they've been in a long, long time. Mortgage payments have ballooned. More and more people are struggling. Some of them struggling enough that they're not paying their mortgage. They're in default. And the lender, the bank or private lender, whoever it is taking possession of the home and selling it under power of sale. Power of sale is a buzzword for a lot of people out there. I know buyers get excited when they hear the word power of sale. I'm telling you, I believe it's a gimmick. More and more realtors are advertising they got power of sale properties, but it's just a gimmick. Let me tell you, as a realtor, let me share some of my experiences. I've worked with lawyers that have been hired to sell these power of sale properties, and I've been fortunate enough to work with buyers buying power of sale properties. Here's my experience in buying power of sale properties. We're working with a buyer, we're online looking at listings, and each day new listings come up, and we're lining up listings to go look at, and my client picks 3 that he likes that are in the area that he's interested in. Now, the public usually cannot see if the property is being sold under power of sale. However, as a realtor, through my MLS, through my TREB system, I can see that it's a power of sale. So I let him know that one property of the 3 that we're going to see is power of sale. He gets really excited right away about that, and that's all he's talking about. So we line up to go see it the next day. Now, the property's been on the market 1 day now. We go see that and the other ones, but he's really excited about the power of sale property. It is priced lower than properties have traditionally been selling in that area, but it's not in great condition. It needs a ton of work. It's not been taken care of. And in my opinion, it's priced accordingly based on the condition of the home. My client's very excited, wants to put in an offer right away. And I say, look, I'm going to try. But my experience with power of sale is that the property needs to be on the market for a certain amount of time before they're allowed to sell it. These are the rules. But I said I would try, so I called the listing agent. I say, look, I'm putting an offer together. I'm going to give it to you tonight. How soon can we get a response? And he says, we need to wait at least a week, so we're only going to look at offers next week. Okay, so I explained this to my client, and we decided it's better. Well, we got no choice. We give it to them now. They're going to know the price we're coming in at, or we wait. So we waited for the following week. In the meantime, we've analyzed prices, analyzed the neighborhood, and whatever we've decided is kind of market value for this property, my client's coming in much lower. So we put the offer in as it was, but in that week, lots of other people have now seen this property. And so we're competing with other offers, and our offer does not get picked as the winning bid. So we move on and we look at other properties. And this would normally be the end of the story. But when that transaction gets put through the MLS system, I notice who the agent representing the buyer was, and it happened to be somebody that I have a relationship with. Later on, a few months later, we're talking about that property. And he says, Santo, what a nightmare. You're almost lucky that you didn't get the winning bid. He says that his client was going to be gutting this home, and that's kind of what it needed. But his client had made plans, organized contractors, bought materials, had the bin all scheduled to be dropped off there the next day after closing. And just before closing, their lawyer informs them that the original owner who went into default has somehow come up with the money, and now the mortgage is no longer in default. And that's part of the rules of buying a power of sale. If the original owner, even if the property is now sold to somebody else, if the original owner, before closing, before title changes, comes up with the money to put the mortgage in good standing, they get their house back. And that's what ended up happening with this house. And these are part of the rules. So, can you get a good deal in buying power of sale? Yes, but no different than buying any other property. but there are more risks in buying power of sale. And that's why sometimes prices of power of sale maybe are a bit lower, but that's because there are far more risk. The one of that I just explained, but you're also buying it as is, where is, absolutely no guarantees. That's the power of sale business. So if that interests you, great, but it's no different than buying any other type of home, with more risks, however. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. Let's get into the numbers. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, we've made it really simple. Below this video in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. This way, I'll know ahead of time and I'll make sure my schedule is organized so we can talk about whatever's on your mind. And if you're looking to buy an awesome condo in the St. Lawrence Market neighborhood, check out the video at the end of this video. We have a lot to talk about today. I'm going to be talking about, I've introduced a few different charts. So here is year over year pricing and sales broken down. Sorry, it's year over year since 2000. So I'm going back 22 years. Let's talk about how we ended the year. Average sold price is close to 1.8 million. And I know there's been lots of headlines out there of how the average sold price of 2022 is higher than 2021, and we all know how 2022 is ending. Well, this is taking the highs of the beginning of the year, averaging it out through the course of the year, and overall, the yearly average is higher than the previous year. This is just for detached properties, and for detached properties, the 2022 average sold price is 4.3% higher than the 2021 average sold price. Here's the real story though. When we look at the sales, the total sales of detached properties just for the city of Toronto, 7,677. It's the lowest on this chart up to 2000. I went back further. As far back as I could go was 1996. These sales here of 7,677, it's the lowest sales going all the way back to sometime pre-1996. I couldn't find a lower year, but as far back as I could go was 1996. So sales for last year was an all-time low. So there's a takeaway there from last year. So when we look at now detached broken down by month, this is just for Toronto detached properties, and I've got every December highlighted, December 2022 going back to December 2018. If we want to look at our current price, the average sold price for December is 1,628,000. If we want to get to 2019 prices, we need to drop by 16.1%, and if we want to get to 2018 prices for detached properties, we need to drop by 30%, the price where we are now. So just for those of you thinking, okay, more drop, prices are coming down, how much further? Well, again, to get to 2019, 16%, to get to 2018 prices, we need a further 30% drop from where prices are right now. And if we look at, again, broken down by month, months of inventory, we could see right now we finished the month of December 22 with 2.7 months of inventory. As months of inventory has been going up, prices have been coming down. Here's 1 year, December 21 to December 2022. Here's now our regular programming. We've got City of Toronto detached properties broken down by week for a whole year. January 4th, 2023, 34 detached properties were sold. 6 of those were at $2 million or more. And compared to last year, that's 22% lower than last year's average sold price. Remember, Last year, prices were going this way. This year, they're either flat or going the opposite way. So average sold price, we said, is 22% lower than last year's average sold price. The median price of $1,225,000 is also 22% lower than last year's median price. This chart here is by week, going back about 3 months. The dotted line is a 4-week moving average, and you could see that average price and median price over the span of 3 months has been trending downwards. Of the 34 that sold, 9% sold at list price or more. Same time a year ago, 61% were sold at list price or more. Two different worlds, 9% versus 61%. So here's listings. 60 detached properties were listed for week ending January the 4th. Compared to last year at this time, 86 were listed. So we're listing far less than what we were listing a year ago. I want to focus on active listings right now. 712 active listings, properties actually available for sale, midnight, January 4th, 2023. Same time last year, 350. So half. Last year we had half the properties available for sale. Sales were higher last year, fewer properties available for sale, prices went through the roof. This year, sales are much less and active listings are more than double. We have way more properties available for sale this time than we did last year, with much fewer sales this year than last year. Power of sale listings. This is just for the month of December for the GTA freehold 2021. So last year, December, there was 14 freehold power of sale properties listed and 3 condos for a total of 17 power of sale properties. This year, 2022, for the month of December, 27 freehold properties were listed under power of sale. Condos had 9 for a total of 36. So power of sale listings in the GTA have more than doubled this December versus last year December. This is definitely something we're going to be keeping an eye on and informing you every single week. And here's detached months of inventory. As months of inventory have been climbing, average sold price for detached properties have been coming down. We're sitting now at 4.8 months of inventory, very much a balanced market type of category. Here's Toronto broken down into 3 different areas: west, central, and east. We're going to focus on west. 14 detached properties were sold. 2 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price is 16% lower than last year's average sold price. Again, this is just for West Toronto. Median price is 35% lower than last year's median price. Median price is under $1 million at $980,000. And months of inventory for West Toronto is sitting at 4.3. I want to point out average days on market jumped way up to 46, which tells me, and I import the data, I look at it, I organize it to get these numbers. I could tell you a lot of those properties that were sold had been on the market for a while. That's why average days on market is so high. And here's something else I want to point out. Sold at list price or more. Even though there was only 14 properties that were sold, none of those were sold at list price or more. Here's Central Toronto. Only 11 detached properties were sold. 3 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price came way down to $2,265,000. It's Central Toronto. The lion's share of the expensive, the luxury properties are in Central Toronto. So even though I say it came way down the price, it's still higher than $2.2 million. $2,265,000 is 29% lower than where the average sold price was last year at this time in Central Toronto. And the median price of $1,650,000 is 33% lower than where the median price was this time last year in central Toronto. And looking at the 4-week moving average, average and median prices are coming down. Months of inventory in central Toronto for week ending January the 4th is sitting at 6.3 months of inventory, which is in a buyer's market category. Now, I gotta say, and I know some people don't like it when I say this, but it's the reality. The last week of the year and the first week of the year, I'm putting the numbers up here, but you just kind of got to be careful of how you're reading them. Over the next few weeks, normal real estate business will kind of put these more in line. However, average days on market jump up to 47. A lot of those properties that were purchased had been on the market for a while and sold at list price or more. Even though there was only 11 sales, none sold at list price or more. Here is East Toronto. 9 detached properties were sold. None of those sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price came down to $1,120,000. $1,120,000 is 20% lower than last year's average sold price. The median price of $1,080,000 is 24% lower than last year's median price. 4-week moving average kind of shows that prices are trending downwards. Not aggressively, but slightly trending downwards. Months of inventory is sitting at 3.9 months of inventory. Now, 9 were sold. Sold at list price or more, 33%. It's only 3. 33% might sound higher, but it's only 3 properties that were sold at list price or more. Here's a quick summary. Usually, East Toronto, which is East York, Scarborough, Beaches area, usually it has the highest amount of sales. Not this week. West Toronto has the highest amount of sales, but East Toronto normally has the lowest average sold price, the lowest median price, has the lowest days on market, and the lowest months of inventory. Let's look at now semis. Here's a quick look at semis. 8 semi-detached properties were sold. 1 of those was sold at $2 million or more, and I made a note here that that one actually sold at $3 million. Average sold price jumped up to $1,129,000. 1,129 is 10% lower than last year's average sold price, and the median price of $853,000 is 27% lower than last year's median price. It's pretty clear here, the 4-week moving average for average price and median price, prices are coming down for semis. It's actually coming down more aggressively than the detached market. Months of inventory is in a balanced category, sitting at 4.4 months of inventory. Only 8 sales, 13% sold at list price or more, which is 1. 1 of those semis sold at list price or more. Townhomes. 3 townhomes were sold. That's it. These are freehold townhouses. Average sold price shot way up to $1,191,000. I can't compare it to last year, nor can I compare the median price of $1,275,000 to last year, because for this week last year, we had no freehold townhome sales. Months of inventory is sitting at 4.2 months of inventory. So over the holiday season, we've been very much in a balanced market for townhouse. 1 of those 3 townhouses that sold at list price or more. Okay, so here's condos. City of Toronto, only for the City of Toronto, condo apartments. This is a month over month, December 2022 in black, all the way back to December 2018. For those people thinking, man, I want condo prices to come down. I want to buy where prices were a few years ago. Well, if we drop 15.6%, we will be at December 20 prices. Actually, we'll be back to 2019 because these prices here were actually higher. But to get to 2018 prices, we need to drop almost 20% from where prices are now. Average sold price for December for City of Toronto, $742,000. So I repeat, you want 2018 prices, we need to drop 20% from where the average sold price is right now. And if we look at months of inventory and we summarize the month of December, we're sitting at 3.5 months of inventory. And just how months of inventory works, here's December, January, February at the beginning of the year. As months of inventory goes up, average sold prices come down. That's just how it works. Here is condos year over year. For 2022, condo prices are up 9.6% from the previous year. Now this only kind of is interesting information if you own a condo, you've owned it for years, you got no plans on really doing anything with it. It's just interesting to know overall how much of prices gone up or down over year. But if you're really looking to transact, the most important thing is what's happening right now. What trend are we on right now? Well, that's what we're talking about here. City of Toronto condos broken down by week for a whole year. 66 condos were sold. 4 of those were at $1 million or more. One of those sold at $3.6 million. Average sold price is sitting at $710,000. $710,000 is practically where the average sold price was a year ago. It's 1% lower than last year's average sold price. The median price of $595,000 is 11% lower than last year's median price. The 4-week moving average, the dotted line, shows us that both average and median price are trending down over the last 3 months. Let's look at sales. 66 were sold this year. A year earlier, we sold 136. 60 was sold the previous week. A year ago, 196. So we are way off the pace of what we were selling last year. This year, 14% of those 66 sold at list price or more. Same time last year, it was 47%. Here are listings. 204 were listed this year. 242 were listed the same time last year. So we're listing less. Active listings this year is 1,886. This time last year, active listings, 884. We had higher sales last year with less properties available for sale. This year we have more than double the properties available for sale. So inventory starting to pile up in the condo market and in the detached market. Months of inventory for condos sitting at 6.5. Right now it looks very much like a buyer's market, but I gotta say, last week, first week of the new year, numbers are a little bit wonky. I imagine this is gonna settle down to kind of where we were just before heading into the holidays. Here's a quick summary of all the months of inventory. 1 week to the next, they've all come down, except in East Toronto went up a little bit, but these months of inventory levels, they're really high, higher than we've seen all year as a group. We're sitting in balanced market, we're sitting in buyer's market. This for sure is going to be one of the most interesting years we've had in real estate in a long, long time. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Come on in. Let me show you this awesome 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo right in downtown Toronto, located at 460 Adelaide Street East.